Greetings ladies and gents, this video is going to be a fairly quick tutorial. I got asked a question on the Sony Vegas section on hybridmachinima.co.uk by the user Shilianth. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It was with regards to, in her case, she's got a Sony Vegas project open and she's got multiple layers, and I guess she's concerned at the moment that it's going to be difficult to manage when you're working with so many layers and so much footage. So I'm just going to show you a way where you can kind of lighten the load and makes things it just makes things easier to work with. So what you're first going to need to do is actually open 2 copies of Sony Vegas, which can be done easily enough. Just click the icon twice and it'll open 2 separate copies. I'll tell you the reason why for this in a moment, but first what I'm going to do is I'm going to create 5 video tracks. I think I need 2 more, and I'm just going to make them all even size. So here I've got 5 video tracks. I've already got the footage ready, so it just saves on time. So I'm going to use this background here. Put that down there. I'm just going to stretch the footage out, and then I'm going to go into the folder again and choose these 2. Basically what I'm doing is I'm compositing a little scene together. I'm putting things in a scene which would normally be there. So this may not answer the question, Shilian's question directly, but it might help her to understand just how you can work with multiple layers with a bit more ease. So right now I've sorted my footage out. I'm just going to do a bit of resizing. So what I'll do is I'll shrink that, put that over there, and in fact what I'll do is I'll copy the exact same clip and paste that under here. If you feel that I'm rushing, you know, if I'm not describing how I'm getting rid of the blue background, etc., you're going to have to watch the Machinima 101 tutorial, which discusses how I'm doing the things that I'm doing now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shift that over just across like that. So now I've got 2 of them, and all that's left now is to move this little, bear with me, to move this table down. I'm just going to resize that and put that there. There you go. So I've got my little scene here. This will act as like a new background. Now the problem is you've got a lot of layers here, and you know, as you continue editing, you know, there's going to be a lot of footage to work with. And a quick tip that I've got is if you're happy with this setup and you feel fairly confident that you're not going to move any of this around and you want to use this as a background, what you can do is you can select it all just by, you know, clicking and dragging. So select that, go to Tools, and actually to save some time I'm gonna have to I'll reduce the quality a bit. Tools, and select Render to New Track, and I'll call this test 01. I've already got one, so I'll just overwrite that. And what this will do is it'll take under a minute, I think. It will render all of those separate pieces into a single video clip. It's basically like you're just rendering out something like you normally would. Instead what it'll do is it'll create a brand new video track, and it'll have that clip on top of everything else. So it's almost done, and I can explain this to you in a moment. Come on, hurry up. Okay, and you'll see that there's an audio track. If you want the audio track, you can leave it as it is. If you don't want it, you just first click here once, which is right here, and then click on the track and hit the delete key, not backspace, hit delete, and that'll get rid of it, and you'll just have the clip now. So what I'll do is I'll move these, which is what I composited before, and this is what you see here is what I just rendered out. So let me just crank up the quality. So here's my new background footage. So it's a single clip now. So it's just like having an image or just one video clip acting as the background. So you've just created yourself a brand new background. Now what I'll do is I'll shift that down there, and what I can do now is bring in my character footage, and I shall bump them up here. I'm going to apply the exact same effects by stretching the footage and adding the chroma key effect to get rid of the blue background. I'm just going to copy those effects and paste it into this clip. I'm just going to position them here. And and let me just get the footage to the same length. Okay, just need to do a bit of reshuffling, shouldn't be too hard. So Orson can go over here, and Celestian, Blood Elf Paladin, can go over here, and there you go. Now it's all done in stages, so you know, first I pieced the background together, and now I've placed my characters here. Now, assuming I've done multiple chat animations and etc, blah blah blah, and I'm happy with the scene as it is, you can do the exact same thing again. You can highlight your footage, go to Tools, and Render to New Track. I'll just call that Test 02. Overwrite that, and it'll composite that into a single clip. Now, I do this a lot. I do it very, very frequently because it can save. It can save you having a massive mess in your project. So I've got this now, right? I'll just delete the audio track like last time, and you know, this is my final clip. And I'm thinking, yeah, that looks fine. I might have to stretch the aspect ratio out, and all I can do then is I'll right-click that, copy, and I'll paste that into the second copy of Sony Vegas that I have open. This copy here will only act, its primary role is to hold all my rendered footage, basically footage that I'm happy with and footage that I feel I won't really be editing anytime soon. So when you want to view your footage, you've just got a single track of all of your rendered footage, and it'll play fairly fast. Whereas this version of Sony Vegas here, its purpose is to assemble your scene, your characters, and this is where really all of your work will go. So that's basically the point of this. Now what you can do then is, so I won't need this because I've already copied it, so I can delete that, and say for example, you know, you just rendered it out and you think, I'm not liking this part of the background, you know, you find this table to be too big. Well, you've still got it here. You've still got all your footage here, so all you'd have to do then is just, you know, shrink it down a bit more and highlight the footage and just render it again, and then just delete this background and just add a new one. So I'd do that, select Tools, Render to New Track, I'd call that Test 03. It would overwrite that. While it's rendering that, I would just delete the background and just add the new one there instead. So it's all the process, you know, of building your scene, rendering it out, and just repeating that process over and over again. Naturally, you will find eventually that the timeline is just going to get filled to the brim with video clips. So just do it scene by scene. So say for example, what I'm building right now is scene 1. You know, it's just a tiny simplistic scene. What I'd do is I'd call this project something like, you know, Warcraft Test. I'd make a folder called Warcraft Test, and I'd go to File, Save As, and I'd save the entire project here. So in the event I find that something needs to be edited, I can always just reopen the project and then just tweak any of these parts that I want at will. So it just saves a lot of time in the long run, and it prevents your workflow from becoming too cluttered. So it doesn't really matter how many layers you use. You can use 20, you can use 30, as long as you use the pre-rendered function and you know, build your movie in bite-sized chunks. You'll never find yourself getting overwhelmed. And this is something I've learned recently, because in my Warcraft Final Fantasy Star 7 Part 1, I just had a massive 9-minute track just filled with clips, and it was just way too confusing. So I've started using this method. So I've started to use this method. So it's simple. One copy of Sony Vegas is used primarily to composite all of your background footage, you know, your actual edited footage, and then you render that out. You know, you select Tools, Render to New Track, and the clip that gets rendered out, you paste that into a second copy of Sony Vegas, and this copy's only purpose is to actually view the footage without having to worry about lag or, you know, all the clutter. So I hope this actually answers your question on how to manage multiple layers without it becoming too confusing. So that is all from me in this tutorial. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.